professional speakers. Welcome to the National Speakers Association of Southern California Board Member Spotlight Series. I'm Sam Osborne, the current Director of Marketing and soon to be the President-elect of this glorious chapter. And today we have the privilege and the joy and the pleasure to be interviewing our current President, Nick Demos, a fantastic speaker, storyteller, award-winning storyteller, Broadway production producer, writer, actor. This guy is amazing, and most importantly, he is one of my closest friends. Nick, welcome to the series.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much for not only for having me on today, because that's what you don't normally say when you come on a podcast. You say, thank you so much for having me on. But thank you so much for creating this space for NSA SoCal and what a legacy you're building to pass on as you ascend into the leadership positions.
For the listener, for the watcher, because this is available on our YouTube channel, it's going to be available on our podcast platform, which is Buzzsprout. So whether you're watching or listening, I'm going to be asking Nick some questions about what it's like to be the president and to be on the board for the NSA SoCal. But Nick, let's get started with something a little bit, fun, light. Where are you today? And what have you been up to that's not related to speaking, if that's possible?
Today, I am sitting in my office where I can see right out my window a gorgeous tree with bird of paradise. And there's something, having moved to Los Angeles only a few years ago, there's something amazing about being able to sit here, look out a window and see this greenery coming in because, all the years I lived in New York, it was concrete. So today, that's what I'm grateful for as I'm having my morning cup of Joe.
I should get mine. It's just over there. We'll trim it here. One moment. Here's one I prepared earlier. I'm at a hotel in Pleasanton, California.
I don't know where that is. Oh, near Oakland. Okay.
Country town near San Fran. Anyway, got my coffee. I'm back. I'm with Nick. Nick, it has been an absolute joy being on the board with you. And of course, there's challenges, but there's been a lot of things that have been truly meaningful, and there's a lot of support in our community, and I really love the growth that you have facilitated for this chapter and for the members. So thank you on behalf of the board and the members and future members. I want to ask some questions now to inspire members to become board members and also even aspire to the presidency role. So Nick, when you became president, what shifted? And not just in your role, but in the way people in the chapter saw you.
Well, first, I want to start by saying it's not me, it's we. We created this. Yes, I might be the figurehead of the moment, but the one thing about being a president of an organization like this is that you are holding the torch to pass it on to the next person. It is not your torch. And so it is a we always. And I think that that's how I came into the position, really looking at it as how can we build a community and grow together as speakers. And in terms of my role really is that, has been that, to be the torch bearer of the moment. It's like that Olympic race, right? They pass the torch and somebody else runs for a while and then they pass it on. And that's how I felt it was my way to shine the light this year on the community and help it run. And that pass off that I'm about to do to Hillary is equally as important in the role as receiving it and running with it. And so how could I, in my own way, make the organization just that much greater, that much better, that the community that much more active during the year? That's how I saw the role. And then how do others see me in the role? That's their business. At the end of the day, that's their business. I always came to it with heart and with the best intentions of the community in mind, and how others perceive that's on them. I will say that what it does bring is visibility, without a doubt. Suddenly, everyone knows you. and which is amazing. And you have all these connections in a way that you might not have had you not stepped into a leadership position. I think one of the most important things about being a board member is that you get to spend close time. I got to meet you and spend lots of time with you. I got to meet Hillary. I got to meet Dan. I got, and so on and so on and so on, the list of all the amazing board members that we have. So that closeness and that connections that you make, they really fuel you. Not only do you become friends with some people, but you also help each other in your businesses. And the membership at large, suddenly you're very visible. So people know you, know what you speak on, know who you are, and are able to share about you in a way that they wouldn't be able to if they didn't see you in that light, carrying the torch metaphor forward.
Yeah. And I want to just sort of go a little deeper with that. You said you become visible in a way that's perhaps surprising, and you have been asked to speak at other chapters around the country, correct?
Yes, I have. Now that is not what happens all the time, but it certainly did for me. I have spoken at 4 other chapters this year, and I'll be speaking at another couple next year as well. Certainly, one of the most surprising aspects that I didn't expect was the national visibility that becoming president offers you
Yeah.
and connections with people from all over the country. I uh, got into a president's mastermind. There's a group of us, there's 6 of us from various chapters across the country that came together, and we meet once a month to help each other, not only with our chapter business, but our own speaking businesses. We are on the end of our second year. We started when we were president-elects. We're finishing our president year, and we're continuing together even in our post-presidency. It's really been a massive gift to me, to each other, uh, and really, as you say, like that, it up that visibility level nationally in a way that I did not expect.
So I guess my next question is about what's the privilege of presidency? We kind of started answering, you started answering that, but perhaps we can go a little deeper. What is the privilege of presidency that only someone sitting in your seat could understand?
Well, first, the privilege is service, in that you get to be a part of legacy. And there's been 45 people before me, and there will likely, hopefully, be another 45 people after me, right? That have served in this position and in this role. And that is the first and foremost privilege, just to be here and to be a part of something that's greater than you are. Then there's all these like secondary privileges that we're just talking about becoming more visible, about connecting with speakers from all over the country and the world for that matter. And there's a joke in NSA about, you become president and it hurts your business, right? But that's actually the opposite of what happened for me. And it really has been a springboard in many ways. When I joined NSA, my friend, her, Sherry Fitz, she was
Yep.
one of our
Shout out to Sherry.
shout out to Sherry, was one of our speakers this year, actually. She's the reason I'm in NSA, because I had said to her, I want to be speaking more. I'm doing it, but I think I need to go dive in further. And she said, go join NSA. It wasn't even like, hey, well, think about this or think
Yeah.
about that. It was go join NSA.
Backed you
And
into a corner with that
she
big smile and
she
said,
did. She totally
join.
did. Go join. And she was dang right. And I'm grateful and glad that I did. And what it has done for me personally has raised my level, my bar, my expectation of myself and of helping the industry.
Let's go deeper with that one. What's been the most surprising way this role has stretched your leadership?
Mm. I think that I have been a leader for quite some time, in that I ran an 8-figure non-for-profit. I ran Broadway shows. Um, so coming in, I was like, I'm a leader. I know what I'm doing. Uh,
Shake that head.
shake that head. I know what I'm doing. But
Pride through the roof.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like the peacock feathers were all
Yeah,
fluffed
yeah.
up, and
Look
I
at
was like,
me.
look at me. but any leadership role, and particularly a volunteer one,
Mm.
is a challenge because I was used to be perfectly blunt, turning to a staff or a team member and saying, "Go do that. Go do that.
Get my coffee.
Let get my coffee." No, but I would, was it a massive delegation? And to not have a full-time staff and team, there's challenges, inherent challenges in that. That to have a grand vision, because I have big vision, as you well know, Sam, to have the grand vision, and then how do you execute it in the time and the space and not drive people out of their mind or away from you? And that was really the balance that I was experiencing all year long.
If a member imagines themselves here one day as the president on the board for NSA SoCal, what will surprise them about how much this role changes their influence?
I think that, it's going to be different for each person because we're all coming to this with different skills. Like Hillary is coming after me, right? And I watch her, and her skills are very, very different than mine. She's a very, very different human than I am. And yet she's going to be a fantastic and brilliant president. She's got this empathy. She's got this way of like drawing people together, of making people feel seen in a way that maybe I didn't, where I had structural vision. And so we all have different ways of coming to the job. And it will stretch you in the way in which you allow it to stretch you. I've been, lifting Hillary and saying, big vision, big vision. Okay, let's think about this bigger. Okay, Hillary, put the structure in place because you're going to want this structure underneath this, et cetera, et cetera. And so as I'm mentoring her up, and she's going to mentor you up, we're going to look at what are the strengths that you currently and inherently have, and then what things can you learn? How
Yeah.
can you grow? And I think if you can come away with that, if you can come away with how can I grow as a leader, it's not only surprising, it's a delight.
Yeah. Well, I know that when you have an equal amount of challenge, like good challenges, some may be a little painful or frustrating, but challenges that help you, in a certain way, plus you have the support. You
Hmm.
have an equal amount of challenge and support. That's the sweet spot for maximum growth. So I can tell from hanging out with you and Hillary and other board members, there's been challenges, but there's an equal amount of support. And from those two polarities, we all grow. And I know that any member who steps into a board role or even joins a committee, they start to grow because there is an equal amount of uh, meaningful challenges with meaningful support, not challenges that cause you to run the other direction, or support that makes you dependent on it,
Hmm.
but let us say an equal sort of balanced approach that's really going to help people if they step into a board role. Would you
I,
agree with that?
I do agree. I absolutely agree. I think that, yes, there have been challenges this year. There's challenges
Yeah.
in any business. Every business has a challenge. But and hopefully in your own business, you've built the support
Yeah.
for when you have those challenges. The wonderful thing about an association like this is yes, there are challenges, but there's a built-in support system.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn how to grow through challenges by being in this organization. And consequently, all those lessons that you're learning, you get to take to your own business. And so it helps you grow as a business person in this space equally as much as an artist in this space.
Yeah. And I know that you value art more than anything, correct?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
And
Absolutely.
I know that living your life like an artist, whether that's in business or actually in performance or in any of the modalities, is there's going to be this opportunity to grow as a human. And I think that's probably one of the most meaningful things that I'm receiving from my role as a board member. And I'm sure you probably can
Mm.
appreciate that statement.
Look,
And
it has brought
please.
up all of my stuff, right? All of your stuff when you're in a leadership position, it brings up your stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to face it.
You got
Not
to
only
deal with it.
you got to deal with it. It's like thrown at you, so you have to face it. And you may even think of it as I have to face this, but if you can soften and look at it as okay, this is opportunity for me,
How can I
then you
appreciate what
grow.
is rather than what
Yeah,
I would like ought to be, you know?
it ought to be because you can find yourself in, well, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be X, it should be Y, rather than okay, here's where it's at now. How can I
Mm.
what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And when you approach the leadership positions in that way, that is it's not only will your business grow, but you grow as a human being.
We're going to wrap it up, but one last piece of inspiring wisdom for aspiring members from the current president of NSA SoCal. Over to you, Nick.
Get involved. That's really, it's like that simple. I know you're probably looking for some profound wisdom from the ancient masters, but what I
Well,
brought was
the Chinese philosophy, Tao Te Ching says more words count less.
yes, exactly. Get involved. If you are considering stepping onto committee, get on. If you're interested in running for the board, do it. It will change not only, as we were saying, your speaking business, bring more visibility, help you understand the business better, help you grow, but it will also help you grow as a leader, as a human. So get involved.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
If you are listening or watching this and you have been inspired by this video, you can email us at the board at hello@nsasocal.org, or come up to one of us at a chapter meeting, whether that's virtual or in person, or one of the happy hours. And we would love to talk to you about helping you on your journey with a potential board member position. So thank you, Nick. Again, it's been an absolute pleasure to be on the board with you as the president.
Thank you, Sam.